Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel, where I share all tips around being a courageous leader and leading with strength, emotional intelligence and authenticity. Today we're talking about feedback. And feedback can be such an awkward and vulnerable experience, whether we are the one delivering feedback or we're on the receiving end. Feedback is never easy. So in this two-part series, I want to talk about how we can actually receive feedback with grace and how we can deliver feedback effectively. And why is it so important to be able to receive feedback? Now, if we want to be able to provide feedback as a leader, as a manager, as a leader in our own business, we need to be able to receive feedback first. If we understand how to master receiving feedback, then we are also going to be much better equipped at delivering feedback to the people that work with us. Now, when I think about my experiences with receiving feedback, I have to admit that very often I get defensive straight away. And I might arm myself up and I'm ready for a fight. How about you? What do you think? Take a moment to reflect. How do you respond when somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I have some feedback for you"? Most likely, you might feel like I do. You might feel awkward and you might get ready for a fight and feel defensive. But what happens when we get defensive when we receive feedback is that we actually stop listening. We're only listening for what we want to prove wrong. We're listening and preparing ourselves for a response, to fight back. And we're either going to start to defend our actions, or we're going to justify our actions, or we might be actually starting to blame other people. Instead, if we were to look at feedback for information, and information that can help us to get truly better and masters at our craft, then we were to be able to just take it in with grace and then decide what we do with it. So I want to walk you through a few tips of how you can receive feedback well and how you can make the most out of it. Now, the first important step is that you start to reflect on what are your usually mechanisms or strategies that you use when you receive feedback. Is it that you start to blame others? Is it that you start to get defensive or angry or shout? Or is it that you maybe retract and you don't respond at all? How do you respond to feedback? And now, if you, for example, have done your Clifton Strength Assessment, you can start to look at your strength and start to see how can your strengths support you while you receive feedback. But even if you haven't done that assessment, you can start to look at how can my usual strength, how can I receive feedback better? And then go into that situation well prepared and equipped. When somebody provides you feedback, say thank you. Thank you for taking the time. That will make you react a little bit more positive towards your feedback. Keep telling yourself that you're grateful for the feedback because it is information that will help you to get better. No matter the intentions of the person that provides you with the feedback, it is information that will help you to make decisions and develop yourself going forward. Tell yourself in your head that you're courageous, that you are brave enough to take on board this feedback. If you feel like you are getting worked up too much and it's getting too tough to listen to that feedback, then you can also ask to postpone the conversation. And there's really no harm, no shame in that. If you feel like you're not able to manage your emotions in that moment, then just feel free to postpone that discussion and get back to it later at a later stage. This can be very helpful if we weren't prepared for the feedback, for example, if somebody just sprung that feedback on us and we didn't have an appointment set, for example. So it came out of the blue and then it can be really hard to manage our emotions. So ask to reschedule and to find another time when you are better prepared, and maybe you can even choose the time. Once you've received feedback, give yourself some time and tell yourself that feedback is only information. There's no true or wrong here. It is information. It's an opinion of the other person. It's about what they value and what they think is right. That doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you to do. So see it as information, and then you can decide what you're going to do with that. Allow yourself to process your emotions first. Take some time. And then when you feel more centered again, go back to the feedback and start to look at, okay, what can I take from this? What does this actually mean? And you will find if you get back to the feedback after you have calmed down, after you have been able to manage your emotions, that you will actually look at it and you can see the value in that. So to recap, make sure you stay open-minded and you listen for the feedback. Don't listen to respond, listen to understand. If you feel overwhelmed, ask to postpone the discussion. Tell yourself that you are brave enough to receive that feedback because you know it's important for you to grow. Feedback is only information, and you get to decide what you do with that information. And lastly, take your time to process your emotions first before you go back to the feedback and decide what you are going to do with it. I hope that you found these tips helpful. If so, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when the next video comes up, which will be around how to deliver feedback effectively. So make sure that you tune in for that one. Thank you so much for watching.